Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk. In this episode, we're here at our Istanbul office with Cameron Deggin. Cameron, welcome to the show.
Many thanks. Usual spot, usual time.
Beautiful weather.
It's all right. It's a
weather
little overcast.
Yes.
It's a little cloudy.
Yeah, but it's a very pleasing weather though.
It is. It's not hot. It's not cold. It's just...
Cameron, I'm really excited today because our very own Sense Levent, it's a project that we are developing in the central Istanbul, next to the central business district of Levent. And it has been an amazing journey since we have started, and we were able to knock down the buildings, and we're digging the ground now. The construction has officially started, and I'd like to thank our audience and for the investors who have been involved in it since the beginning. And I don't want to talk too much about the building itself, the fact that it has a very aesthetically pleasing look to it, and it's a very functional building, and etc., which we have covered in the previous videos. But today, I want to talk about this new program that we are introducing that will encompass only the 20% of the units at Sense Levent. The name of the program, Cameron, is Sense Rewards Program. Serviced apartments, short-term lettings for high return on investment, for high rental return. Briefly, could you please talk to us what is Sense Rewards and why are we doing this?
Sense Rewards essentially is created as a solution to a problem. Investors, whether they're Turkish or foreign investors, but when they park their money somewhere in real estate, there are three main things or three main aspects that a keen investor would be thinking about. Management of the property. So how is it going to be managed? The ongoing rental income from the property, and then the exit strategy when he wishes to exit the market, obviously with maximum capital growth. So those are the three aspects to a viable real estate investment. Within the Sense Rewards program, what we aim to do is to provide a framework whereby the investor can achieve hands-off management, which is we as Property Turkey shall manage the property A to Z, the highest possible return on investment in terms of rental income. What we shall do within the Sense Rewards system is provide short-term lettings, Airbnb style lettings, which I shall discuss a little bit further in 5-10 minutes as to the advantages of short-term lettings as opposed to long-term lettings. Right. That we do already. And then we shall provide an exit strategy. So we shall maintain the property within our ecosystem as if it's one of our stocked properties, so that when the investor decides to exit the market, hopefully with a handsome gain, then we can easily exit the investor. So we bring the investor on board, we manage his property, we rent it out at maximum ROI, and then we provide him with a handsome profit on exit. So this is really the Sense Rewards system.
Let's spice this up a little bit and let me go into asking you a few questions that I would think that the clients would ask. So what you have just said is that if you come buy a property from our Sense Levent project, provided that the specific property that you bought qualifies for the Sense Rewards program, we are going to give you a high rental return through short-term lettings and no tenants, no contracts, and you can get to use your property whenever you want to use your property.
That's right.
And you're not going to pay any maintenance fees or anything like that. And we're going to provide you high sustained revenue alongside the capital appreciation that you will have. A question to you. Sense Levent is being built in the heart of Istanbul next to the central business district, yet it's not being built in a touristic area.
Yeah.
How are we going to find the amount of tenants for the short-term lettings.
If you are suggesting that there is a massive benefits with the sense reward system, and we are certainly suggesting that there is such a benefit, then we have to provide that benefit, which means we can only extend our sense rewards program to the right locations where short-term lettings are possible of the caliber we want, and also to the right types of properties that are in line with our core strength as Property Turkey. What I mean core strength is, which is our bread and butter, which is what we sell day in, day out. That's our core strength. We have a profile that we are very strong in selling. Okay, so this is where we're putting the exit strategy of sense rewards on. So to then answer the rental side of it, Sense Levent, which is our first project where sense rewards will be geared toward. Sense Levent is not in a touristic area. It's not in Sultanahmet. It's not in Taksim. However, it is only a short walk from Istanbul's largest business district, which is the central business district of Istanbul in Levent, hence the name Sense Levent.
Right.
So the residence itself, Sense Levent, is geared so perfectly well toward the professional city worker who are career-driven. Most of them will probably be employees of finance, insurance, or some sort of technology sectors in the area. And these people, what they look for in terms of a place they're going to call home is exactly what Sense Levent offers. So that in itself, in my opinion, will provide us with a great majority of the tenants on the short-term lettings basis. Will Sense Levent also appeal to foreign tenants, people who are visiting Istanbul and who will stay in Istanbul for anything from a week to a month or 2 months? Yes, it will.
Yeah.
And it is in between Kağıthane and Levent, which is extremely central to the main attraction points of Istanbul.
Right.
5 minutes from Beyoğlu, 15, 20 minutes from Sultanahmet, less than 5 minutes to the Bosphorus. So all the areas, the tourist attractions that you might want to frequent and visit in Istanbul are within very easy reach of the location of Sense Levent. So in my opinion, it will have a very strong professional Turkish market, young professionals as tenants, as well as a foreign market for
True.
tenants.
I mean, you said a good thing in the very beginning. This Sense Rewards program solves a massive problem, not only for the tenants, but also for the homeowners. But if you look at it from a tenant's perspective, Levent Central Business District is where you have tens of thousands of professional city workers are working, and there's a high circulation of new people coming there for employment, and people are leaving and everything
for training,
right.
for employment, and,
Right.
and there's always a very high circulation of expats,
right.
either foreign expats or domestic expats
Right.
from other parts of Turkey.
Sure.
And Sense Levent is perfect for them. It gives them the
100%, yeah.
comfort they want. It gives them the modern contemporary living they want in the area that they want to be located.
Yes, because the other case is this. Let's say you're coming to Istanbul for 3 months, and I don't know, you have landed a job in Levent, or you're coming there for training or a business meeting, or it's one of your branches in Levent, and you're going there for a specific reason, a deployment, whatever the case might be. A few months of accommodation. First of all, you cannot rent a long-term a home on a long-term contract, because long-term contracts start from 1 year. Okay, and in order for you to rent a place with a long-term contract of 1 year, you need to pay 4 rents. So you need to pay the first month's rent up front, 1 rent as commission, and 2 rents as deposits. So right when you're coming in to the door, 4 months rent is gone. Also, you are turning on utilities, so you need to put deposit to the electricity, put deposit to the water, put deposit to the internet and everything.
And other utilities are your responsibility as a long-term tenant. Yeah.
So you register all those. And it's not finished yet. You need to furnish the place. So you need to pay money for the furniture and everything. Only for what? For 6 months? For 9 months? Yeah. It's not worth it at all. And we have seen this particular demand within the central business district. And we have said we create walking distance homes that are furnished, that they don't worry about no utilities, no paying the bills, no nothing. They come there, we got all the services available. And among these services are a food and beverage serving view terrace. That's a quite large space. You got a wellness center, a spa, gym, sauna, hammam. You got a smart home system, and you got dry cleaning, housekeeping, as and when you want. We have thought about every single thing that these tenants might think and might need. And we have provided that. On top of which, we are providing a shuttle service to the CBD. And people who are working at the CBD can board the shuttle and be there in like 3-4 minutes.
That's a good service.
So now, my question to you is, and I can hear some people might be asking this question. Okay, Alaattin, I understand the concept is perfect. But
sounds all good.
Right. What if you cannot keep your occupancy rate high? If the occupancy rate falls below, let's say 50%, 40%, then am I not better off doing long-term contracts? How are we planning to, with our experience, with our marketing, to increase our occupancy rate?
Lots of properties that are being rented on short-term basis through Airbnb and similar are managed either by people like you who own a few properties and manage it themselves, or they're given out, the management and lettings are given out on quite a large commission basis to a third-party company to do that. In Istanbul, there are several of these third-party companies, yet none of them have got the outreach that we as Property Turkey have in terms of traffic. Mere online traffic.
Right.
Short-term lettings are 99% online traffic driven. If you have very good online traffic at the right info highway, in other words, targeting the right segment, you will get the tenants. And we have that online traffic.
And that's our core competence.
This is our core competence. So we already have a ready-made client base as tenants to come and populate those select number of properties that we shall include within the Sense Reward system. So finding tenants for short-term lettings is the least of my concerns.
True.
To be honest with you.
So let me ask you a direct question. As an investor, as a foreign investor, what you are telling me is actually what I'm looking for. Because I need a property in Istanbul and I want to get high rental returns over the property. But from time to time, I want to be able to visit Istanbul and stay in my property. So I don't want a 24/7 living in tenant on a long-term basis. And you're promising me good returns.
Yes.
But compared to the market average, what is the market average and what are you promising me?
The market average, if you look at long-term lettings, currently is around 3.5 to 4%. Max. Max. A lot of landlords who found themselves in a position where they've got long-term tenants who took occupancy 2-3 years ago are now enjoying no more than 3% rental returns.
Correct, yeah.
With short-term lettings, there is no contract and there is no, well, tenant doesn't have rights other than the right to get the best service,
right?
Which is their top right.
For the specific time that they're
for the specific
living
time
there.
So basically, if you look at an investor who comes on board with the Sense Rewards program and say stays with the program over a period of 5 years, the holding period of the real estate, what we anticipate is that his average rental return per annum will be around 7%.
Right.
That's after all management expenses, everything cut out.
And that's conservative.
That's conservative. And I'd say 7% net rental return
in US dollar terms
in any city in the world is a very, very handsome return. So this is basically what Sense Rewards aims to provide.
Sense Rewards, it's great for exit. If you want to exit your property to the Turkish market, well, that's the 97% of the market. So your buyer is likely to be a Turkish person.
Yes.
In the exit strategy, time is money. I mean,
Yes.
why should anybody buy your property as opposed to X person's property or Y person's property?
That's a good question.
A property that qualifies for Sense Rewards program.
Yes.
What are some of the advantages when the exit time comes?
Sense Rewards system is part of several different investment strategies that we propose to our investors within our investor club formation.
Right.
As Property Turkey, we have an investor club.
Right.
The investor club has got several tried and tested investment strategies applicable for Turkey and predominantly for Istanbul. What are these strategies? Well, one of them is small hotels.
Mm-hmm.
We studied this before also with you. Small hotels, which have massive parallels to short-term lettings.
Mm-hmm.
Small hotels is a growth sector in Istanbul, and it is rather profitable a sector. So that's one of the investment strategies that we recommend to suitable investors, generally those who've got hospitality or hotel management background.
Sure.
Small hotels. Another one is upper fixers, buying properties dilapidated or fallen from grace, let's say, properties in strategic parts of the city and adding value to them in such a way that 2 + 2 = 6.
Right.
Okay? And that difference is your exceptional profit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else we offer our investors. And the Real Estate Investment Trust,
Mm-hmm.
our fund, the Real Estate Investment Fund, we call it Property Turkey Investment Fund, which gives you massive tax advantages, almost zero tax, and also venture capital fund, which is whereby we bankroll different business segments in Turkey. Again, very high returns are possible. So these are some of our existing investment strategies that we discuss with, let's say, the more serious investors.
True.
And we have quite a few of them. Now, Sense Rewards is going to be one of those strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's going to be one of our investment strategies within the investor club. So if you're an investor and you come in and you say, well, you know what, I'm interested in your Sense Rewards, then that to me means you're interested in acquiring a few properties, keeping those properties between 3 to 5 years, completely hands-free. So it's where you park an amount of money, you're hands-free, you get a handsome operational income on an annual basis in the form of rent, mm-hmm. short-term lettings, and then you exit with hopefully the maximum capital growth.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one more caveat I would like to add to that. To be eligible to Sense Rewards, the chances are, as an investor, you need to come in at what we call grassroots level.
Right.
When the development is completely off plan.
Yes.
Because you are taking a risk there, aren't you? Although you know us, you trust us, but still, you are taking a risk as an investor by coming in at completely off plan stage.
True.
But what am I giving you in return is that very deep discount to market. Mm-hmm. Because you're providing finance for my project, and in return, I'm giving you the benefit of profiting when buying.
Mm-hmm.
Then you are the perfect investor for Sense Rewards, because I have the peace of mind as Property Turkey, as the provider, of knowing that you purchased at a very, very decent price. So I know that through my ecosystem, 3 years, 5 years down the line, unless something dramatic happens in the world, all things being the same, I know and I have the confidence that I can indeed exit you with a handsome profit.
Right. And just to reinforce what you just said, Turks love revenue. So,
Yes.
for example, as an investor, let's say you bought a few properties from a development that we have that qualifies for the Sense Rewards program. It's very easy for you to exit these properties because these properties will have over and above market rate rental returns. And Turkish people, especially recently, they're buying properties with loans. They're obtaining loans from the
True.
bank, so
True.
they have their monthlies that they need
True.
to pay, and they're
True.
looking for properties that are going to give them decent revenue.
To pay the loan or parts of the
100%
loan.
in places and in developments where they do not have the chance to operate short-term lettings. They have to do long-term, and long-term it gets eaten off by inflation. So in 5 years down the line, when they look at their loan payments and look at their rents that they're getting, it's not it's not adding up. They need to inject money from their own pockets. However, if they buy a property that's a member of the Sense Rewards program, they are given that right to operate in short-term lettings. That will mean that their rental returns will never go down. And with inflation, their rental returns are actually going to increase. So they will always have good revenue coming in so they could pay off their loans. And Turkish people are looking for properties exactly like this in the market. So as an investor, when you buy a few properties from Sense Levent that qualifies for the program, it's extremely easy for you to exit your properties in the local market. Plus, we have an app that we are developing within which you can monitor your flat and you can monitor your revenue and you can look at the market rate of your property and calculate how much of a returns you can expect to have. And also we're adding in a tax calculator in it as well. Should you wish to do an early exit before 5 years, how much taxes you would pay, or should you wish to wait for 5 years for how much you would sell the property. And through the app, if you want to exit the property, you just click on the button to
sell my property.
Yeah, sell my property, and the inquiry comes to us, and we can give you two options. We can either tell you, hey, look, we can give you a buyback for this price if you're so in need of cash.
We might even buy the property back from you. Yeah,
true. If you're so in need of cash, let's say the market price is X, we can say X minus 10%. We can offer you the money now, and we can buy the property. Or you could say, no, I want to put my property on the shelf and wait a few months and sell the property. For it. So we got all the options. So everything happens within the ecosystem, and Sense Rewards is the newest member of this ecosystem. And
I like it. I like Sense Rewards.
And I think that's going to be a groundbreaking thing.
I think so. Yes.
It's always a dilemma, isn't it? Because majority of the people, of the clients that we deal with, they see Property Turkey as, okay, this is a real estate agency that is there to sell me a property, and I am a client who I'm going to buy. You know, that has a specific mindset, and that has a specific mentality. It conditions you in such a way, it conditions the agent in such a way that you can never get into that level of relationship where you can be a member of the community. Only certain people who, after having a purchase history with us, an investment history with us, who get to know who we are and our group of companies and our own ecosystem, those are the people, they decide, okay, you know what, guys, I want to continue my entire investments with you. What are the products or services that you can offer me? We can offer you this asset management company that can save you from taxes, that we can establish a REIT, or you can go into this one and bankroll a development, or we can do short-term lettings, or we can do small hotels, boutique hotels, or whatever we do, you're a member of the investment community. But how do you transition people from being a client who's there to buy a property from this agent on the other side of the phone versus, hey, you're one of us now, come and invest with us, roll with us?
To be honest, Alaattin, that depends very much on the client, and it depends what their motives are. And you know it just too well that 80-90% of our clients are in the market to buy a home, a holiday home, citizenship by investment, or just a small investment. Okay, that's the majority of foreign buyers in Turkey. But then you have that other 10, maybe 15% who are more serious about investing.
Yes.
Generally, what differentiates these people is the size of their investments, generally. So generally, they tend to be looking for much larger sums of investments. and they're looking for a structure. So for them, it's not just about buying another property. It's about a business.
Mm-hmm.
They are the more serious investors. And they're the ones that you can't just sell a property because that's not what they're after. You know, they want something that goes a long way ahead of just receiving a service from an agency to facilitate purchase of a property. You know what? They can go anywhere for that.
True.
They can go
They're
anywhere
after for
that.
proper investment consultancy.
Yeah, a structure.
Right.
Whereby you get them in, you provide a safe framework for them to generate whatever it
That
is
is
they wish to
scalable
generate.
and sustainable.
Exactly. And then there's an easy exit. Really and truly, it all boils down to that. They're looking for a structure. They're looking for a vision. They're looking for a legally safe and an operationally viable methodology. Now, that's our investor club, basically. And in my experience, it's no more than 10, maximum 15% of investors coming as foreign direct investment into Turkey.
Right.
No more than that.
True. Okay, Cameron, thank you very much. Let this
All right.
be a brief introduction to the Investor Club. And yeah, Sense Rewards, thank you for all the information that you provided. And guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you're interested in buying a property from Sense Levent that will qualify for the rewards program with this WhatsApp number, you can reach out to us. Until next episode, see you.
See you.